So we're doing an All-American Rejects music video episode today, Tom, and it should be pretty obvious which one we're doing.
Is it?
No, it's not. Actually, we have an apology to issue before we start. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I feel like this band deserves a few episodes, but we are just going to blow right past Swing Swing, which maybe should have been their introduction on our show, but ooh.
We'll do that record. Like, we'll give it its due. But we did a full record episode last week. Yeah, so it's just Swing Swing music video is like, we did a Stacy's Mom music video episode. There's obviously just like a whole universe of things going on there that is, there's plenty. But they were so new and fresh out of my wife's home state of Oklahoma. Look at these young strapping lads. It was pretty much a Meet the Band music video where there's a loose story, but mostly it's them in a garage. We're going to skip ahead a little bit and come back to it later this year, probably. But yeah, we're going to do, or this is the apology. We're doing Gives You Hell, basically, right?
And I don't feel the need to apologize because every time I listen to it, I think this is the best song ever.
What we're going to do next week, just kidding, but not really, is a full episode on their use of the word beseech in track 1 of that first album, the one that has Swing Swing on it, which anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start the show.
Jesus Christ. Let's do it. What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast.
So there's hey, there's so much to say. We should have talked about All-American Rejects a long time ago. And long time ago. Some might say it should have happened a long time ago. And I mostly just want to talk about their first album the whole time, but like we said in the intro, or the cold open, if you will, we have a little bit. I don't know. Stop me. I'll let you go. Do your fun facts. Intro the show.
No. It's good.
I'm too emotionally driven. There's just a lot. There's a lot of All-American Rejects memories, and you want to get them all. We have to compartmentalize. And today we're talking about Gives You Hell, and that's okay. There's plenty of All-American Rejects to talk about later.
Plenty. But yeah, I sometimes when I do fun facts, like what I did for Motion City Soundtrack, there just like wasn't that much. And I feel like I have like 2 pages of fun facts that I want to talk about. There's a lot to talk about with this song, with the music video.
This is kind of their most recent last mainstream effort. Like, have they been super busy post this record?
I don't know.
Anecdotally, or at least in my mind, it feels like that's my last memory of them really being in the public eye.
Sure.
Because they were Move Along and all that came after the Swing Swing stuff. And there's like phases of All-American Rejects in your life. The lead singer never ages. Somehow, good for him. Tyson, I think his name is. Good Oklahoma name, I guess, probably. And yeah, this is phase 3, it felt like. And I kind of liked it better than phase 2. I'm just excited to do this episode. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Like I said, lots to talk about. I didn't realize this was like on an album. I heard this song in total isolation as a single. I remember Sam Cray in Homeroom came up with the old style Apple earbuds and like just put them in my ear and was like, shut up and listen. And he did that with a lot of bands. All Time Low, Mayday Parade. Ooh, who else did he introduce me to? Quite a few bands.
Sam Cray deserves Sherpa status, I think. We mentioned James and Hannah a lot, but Sam, let's do it now. Let's make it official. Sam is one of our music Sherpas.
Yep. Right there. There you go. He introduced me to this song, and it took over the entire world. It felt like it's their most successful song to date, peaking at number 4 on the Hot 100 chart and is certified 4 times platinum.
Really?
In the U.S. alone.
Okay, because your mind jumps to Swing Swing, it jumps to Gives You Hell, or no, this is the Gives You Hell. It jumps to Move Along, some of the more emotional second sophomore effort stuff. But I'm also glad to hear that because I unironically freaking love this song. It's such a good sing-along. It's like built to be a single almost, it feels like.
Right, which brings this next part into like a really interesting light. In an interview with Vivo, the group discussed how the song started out as a cheesy whirl on a drum loop, whatever the that means, and how unsure they were on its sound that it almost didn't make the record.
Wow.
Like, it almost came out without this song on it. It's so crazy that, like, you hear a lot in history, like, I mean, even keeping it within our own niche, Sugar We're Going Down was like, many record producers and label execs were like, yeah, this song cannot go on the album. No one's going to like it. And I mean, you know, look what happened. It's
look what those moody teens showed them.
Right. And they said, like, you know, it's too many words. And it reminds me of the old movie Amadeus from the 90s when someone criticized Mozart saying too many notes. And he's like, too many notes.
Oh, yeah. Imposter syndrome is powerful. It might be the most powerful thing ever. No. What a mistake that would have been. And again, it's not like breaking much ground. It's just sometimes you just need a bop and you don't have to overthink it. You know, you don't need to always be listening. I mean, recently we did stuff on Give Up and Commit This to Memory. And some of the, like, I don't know, sometimes you don't always have to be in that headspace. And I'm glad they decided to come out with this song because what a freaking shame. Like 25 years later, they come out with a box set. Like, oh, what? Like one of the songs they released with the box set, never before heard. Oh, interesting. Right. Interesting platinum tune you have tucked away here.
So it debuted at number 69 on the Billboard Hot 100, steadily climbed before breaking into the top 10 over 7 weeks. And this is the third time the band had a top 10 hit on the chart, which was probably Swing, Swing, and Move Along. But it peaked at number 4, like I said. It's their most successful song to date. And it spent 35 weeks on the chart in 14 consecutive weeks alone at the top 10, 5 weeks in the top 5. And in late 2009, Billboard announced that Gives You Hell was the most played song of the year. And it this is such a weird statistic. The song also became the 42nd biggest selling rock song of the 21st century in the UK.
I wonder if it says it was released in September 2008. I wonder if that was late enough in the year to catch enough momentum to be like a song of the summer in 2009 or something. Like, because that type of traction is like summertime radio. There's always like 10 to 25 songs that whoever has a summer job, whether it's lifeguarding or working at a baseball park, I'm like, or even in retail during the winter or something, like there's that radio station that always gets repeated. And I wonder if it snuck its way into some sort of like summertime radio rotation half a year later or something. Cause I don't know. When you think back at All American Rejects, It Ends Tonight would be my guess for the other past hits. But yeah, Move Along and Swing Swing are so prevalent in the people who are fans of the band's mind, I'm sure. But that's some serious hardware. Those are some serious numbers that you almost wouldn't expect them to, no disrespect, but like you think of this niche and you think of this like emo pop punk world that kind of we live in doing the show. Quadruple platinum is not something to be trifled with, right? I mean,
I think we've only touched that 2 other times on this show, those amount of numbers.
Can I guess?
I forget.
Oh, my guesses would be probably Avril Lavigne and Avril Lavigne a second time. Those would be my 2 guesses.
Oh, man. Yeah, so like you said, serious numbers. They did not come to play around. They were self-conscious about it the whole way through, but I mean, it paid off big time. So big, in fact, that it warranted not 1, but 2 music videos.
Do tell, because I am intimately familiar with one of those 2.
Yeah, so one video, the one that probably everyone thinks of, is the neighbor versus neighbor thing, and had a storyline. I think on YouTube it's called like Gives You Hell music video full narrative version. And then there's a performance version, which is there are performance shots in the narrative version, and then the performance version is just entirely those same shots with extra ones in it. Like it's from the same shoot, probably from the same day.
Does it still have the uptight neighbor coming in at the end?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's just the shots of the band that they used. Okay.
And like, I'm kind of a fan of it. For a second, I was thinking like, why would they do this? But like, I think it's actually a really fun idea, especially since they're just borrowing more shots from the first one. Like, I'm a little bummed out when bands only give performance music videos because it feels so cheap and easy. But I like the fact that it was like supplemental to like the bigger effort. And it kind of makes me want to talk about the director of the music video. They hired Mark Webb, who I'll give some stuff that he's worked on. He directed 2 Spider-Man movies in 2012, 2014. He directed multiple episodes of The Office. He also directed the music videos for Sick Transit, Gloria Glory Fades, I'm Not Okay, I Promise, Helena, She Hates Me, and Ocean Avenue.
Oh my God.
And he's directed, those are just songs that we've talked about on the show. He has directed music videos for Green Day, Weezer, Brand New, Yellow Card, Good Charlotte, Reliant K, AFI, Evanescence, Jimmy Eat World, Hilary Duff, Hoobastank, Puddle of Mud, and My Chemical Romance, among dozens of others.
See, dude, I told you we have to do that Hilary Duff song on the show.
You're right.
Dude, I'm telling you, it belongs in the canon, man. When the rain comes down and washes away my... Anyway, that's for another time. Hopefully I can convince you to do that episode someday. Tweet at us at _reminiscentfm if you agree.
So all that to say that like once they knew they had a hit on their hands, I mean, quite literally, they doubled down on the video and hired Mark Webb, I guess this legendary music video producer, to like really give it a good effort. And I think it was just firing on all cylinders.
I think that we were excited to do this episode because I think we probably had the most fun we've ever had doing the Stacy's Mom music video episode, which...
Absolutely.
And honestly, quite, you know... Hoobastanks, and I say this, I tweet this like daily from our Reminiscent account, whenever possible. But the music video for... No, I get Switchfoot mixed up with Hoobastank so often. The Reason, yes. It's such a good heist movie in itself that you're kind of like blown away by it when you rewatch it. You're like, this has no business being this good based on how people view Hoobastank retroactively, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the music video episodes are really fun. And this one, are we doing the music video stuff? Or I don't want to step on your fast facts, but there's a lot going on.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Similar to Stacy's Mom, we're in the suburbs, seemingly, right? Which can be, if according to Desperate Housewives, a show that was swept the nation in the aughts. Just kidding. I don't really know if that's true, but of course we all do. Now I'm kind of hung up on that. I wonder if it was during the Desperate Housewives era that this... Anyway, doesn't matter. We have 2 neighbors who are feuding, pretty simply. That's kind of the world we're brought into pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
And there's a nerdy version of Tyson.
Sure.
Let me Google that real quick. Well, so I make sure I'm not referring to him incorrectly. He plays the 2 lead male roles, right? There's a nerdy, uptight neighbor and a band neighbor. Do you think we're led to believe we should like one over the other right away?
Oh, interesting. I think you're supposed to be rooting for the badass neighbor, but the nerdy hair slicks back neighbor goes so fucking hard.
He's kind of hardcore, and there's the switcheroo at the end that... Yeah, I kind of want to get it all out at once, but we should take it slower than that. But yeah, slickback nerdy guy's kind of hardcore. The first shot, it is Tyson Ritter. The band's from Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is where Oklahoma State University is located. So this is all checking out. Okay, just wanted to make sure I was getting my names right, which is legwork I should have done at least 30 minutes ago before recording. But so they go to bed. He's waving to his wife. They're sleeping in separate beds, right?
Yeah.
And I am just let's just stop it right there, man.
Frame 1.
Frame 1. You're probably wondering how we got here. So we were visiting our friends in Pittsburgh a couple years ago, and the question came up because you feel kind of self-conscious about this sometimes, but like, do you guys sleep in separate beds sometimes? Like if one of you has to get up for work early and it would throw off the other's sleep schedule so much that like, it would just be better for all parties health-wise to get enough good sleep. Do you sleep in? They were just like emphatically yes, which made me feel good because my wife and I do that. I would say pretty frequently if like one of us is going to wake up at 6 to go for an appointment, doctor's appointment or work or something. When sleep needs to get got, going to the guest bed on good terms, right, and using it as a positive thing, I'm gonna go team separate bed when needed. And we're led to believe the quote unquote nerds are like screwing up because they're so tight laced that they don't even touch each other anymore or something. Like it's a bad life to get quality sleep. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to stop you right there, mister. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know. But obviously it's a hyper like bad boys are in this clean neighborhood thing, and it's like they're playing to that. But they could have picked anything else, right, to make us hate these people right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, they are blowing each other kisses from the separate twin beds across the room from each other. Same room, different beds.
To me, that's pretty adorable, right?
Yeah, and like I honestly think that the main girl, the blonde girl, and Tyson, like they're like weirdly good actors. I mean, I'm sure the blonde girl is an actress, but like
yes,
they do a really good job of like doing the cutesy thing, the kind of nerdy good guy thing that's like kind of over the top, but in a way that feels right. Like again, frame one, I wanted to say like these actors are doing a good job. But yes, I've honestly been sleeping in a separate bed for the past 3 nights because my wife is up at like 4:30 in the morning for work, and I've kind of been in this habit of going to bed at like 3 in the morning.
Right. And at that point, you're just disrupting your significant other's life, right? Like,
right. And it started with me coming into bed at like 2:30, and she was like more than halfway on my side of the bed. And then my dog was in between her and the edge, and I'm like teetering off the edge of the bed, and it's like.
And at that point, if you're halfway through your freaking REM, like if you've rolled over a bit, you can't even blame the person for it. So you're just kind of asking for trouble, man. And again, not every night, not necessarily a habitual thing, but also if it is, I don't know. Sometimes social norms can like drive people in a direction that makes no sense to me. But again, if sleep needs to get got, why not just sleep in the other bed? Especially if you need to get up early for something and it's going to disrupt. Because sleep is a precious thing. I'm just saying.
Right. So like, we don't have a TV in our room, so I've been down in the basement with my Bluetooth headphones on, watching the Office bloopers on my laptop in bed with the dog next to me. And like, I don't know. I've kind of loved it. Like I love sleeping with my wife as well. But like the past 3 nights, she's been up early. I've been up late. It's just kind of made sense to do it. And I would say 10 out of 10 for the nights that you need it. I would not knock the separate bed life for our antagonists in this music video.
Yeah, they're blowing kisses. They're in a good mood. It's not until these dang ruffians come into the dang neighborhood, painting their house. Can we talk about this?
Ooh.
They painted their house vertical striped and their lawnmower. I mean, well, here's a question. A good question for the sake of the story. Did they move into a house that was painted that way? Or did they roll in and just flop their cajones on the table and say, we're going to choose to paint our house this way and kind of make a show of it for the neighbors?
I did think that was super interesting because like, who would do that? You know, vertical stripes, matching riding lawnmower, which makes me think like, say that they came upon a house that was beige in color and they thought, you know what, I'm not some cul-de-sac cuckold. I'm painting this damn house vertical stripes.
The fact that you had the alliteration ready for that particular phrasing was...
You could probably hear the gears turning as I was saying. I was like, just alliteration.
Play it back, yeah. So you think they rolled in, were like, people need to know what we're about in this house with 4 grown men and a grown woman and a riding lawnmower and no other assets to their name?
Yeah, and it got me thinking, if they did take it upon themselves to paint this house, did they factor in the lawnmower into the quote for how much paint they need? Like, was that intentional? Were they just using the leftovers from the paint itself?
Right.
And they only had that one other
Here's my thing. If you're doing like,
lawnmower.
okay, so read the book, Boomtown, I think it's called. Sam Anderson wrote a good book about the history of Oklahoma. And Wayne Coyne, the Flaming Lips lead singer, kind of built himself this urban acre in Oklahoma City. And by buying up houses and he wanted to live in his hometown basically. And even though he has rock star money, he gives a lot back to the city. Sometimes he'll just take cans of paint downtown and like put rainbows on stuff. My guess is that this is taking place in Stillwater, where the band was created, and they're just trying to add a little art to the scene, as it were. And they bought all the paint, did it themselves, did a good job. The lines are clean. And they said, we have enough paint. Let's just make art everywhere. They're artists. They wake up every evening with a big smile on their faces. What can we paint today? What can we effing paint today? And I think it was a self-made thing, but they're artists, so they're doing a good job with it. If I'm a member of the Homeowners Association, that association might be led by the hardcore boy next door. Who's to say? So there's going to be some bumping heads, but I'm not sure it's necessarily negative for the neighborhood. I'm not saying I hate either of these people so far. We've seen a glimpse into both of their lives. It's pretty GD clear what we're supposed to believe about both, but I think they're both just doing their thing. They both seem pretty happy to me. So to me, the conflict doesn't need to exist so far. So far, I think there's no need for conflict. Everyone's just doing their thing.
Until we find out that the good neighbor next door goes to bed around 10 p.m. because they're working at that 9 to 5 pace, lyrics from the song. And the bad boys across the way with the vertical stripes, it seems like they are getting ready for band practice at 10 p.m. because they've got that rock star lifestyle. They've got, animal print bed sheets, and they start rocking what seems like
animal
pretty
print
hard.
bed sheets in the pillows. Leopard, zebra, any safari-based animal skin you might come across. I'm guessing it's faux fur.
It's pronounced pho.
Fuffer? It is not. Fuffer? It's pronounced fur. Oh, sorry, I was misreading that word. Wait, are you being serious?
No, like the Asian noodles.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Which it makes for a nice meal. Sorry, that one went right past me, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss a good joke because the history of this show would suggest that I talk too fast past things that you say that are truly, honestly, very clever and hilarious. And I just was like, wait a minute. You're probably wondering how I got. Yeah, you're probably wondering how I got here. Ignoring my friend. So, and then he goes to shirt with all of his male roommates shirtless, or goes to breakfast shirtless, which is a power move, ? And they drink milk from the jug and eat peanuts. Like, there's just a lot. Talk to me about the breakfast scene and what you took from that. There's just, I get they're living an alternate lifestyle, but come on. Like, what are you trying to prove? It's just, like, what's going on here?
Well, dude, I think there's pictures of you, me, and Zach eating at my mom's kitchen table breakfast shirtless. So
okay, that solves that. It's totally normal, and we should not talk about it anymore at all.
Can we talk about what happens next at the table? You wrote it down with the clap.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so back to the whole song and the reason we're doing this episode. This song is about as catchy as it gets.
Yeah.
It's a good sing-along jam. It doesn't try to be anything more or less. The understated or the fact that they limit their own distorted guitar use in it is kind of telling. Oh. But yeah, so they're at the table, they're drinking milk straight from the jug, and they're eating peanuts, I guess. I don't know. Some type of finger food, which again, nutrition-wise, that's a mess, but maybe their neighbor could help him out. He seems to have his stuff together a little more. You feel, you want them to at least have the nutrients they need to rock out. You worry, you worry. But
it's hard to keep your skin so pale and emaciated, though.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, hey, rock star mentality. Am I right? Yeah. So then they kind of break, you're into this whole like Edward Scissorhands world of super clean, like almost Tim Burton-y, how cartoonish this is. And then they all just snap you back into the fact that it's a music video and they all clap at once. Oh. And kind of like, right in tune with the, I don't know how, to the beat of the song, right?
There's a clap in the song, and everyone is eating breakfast around the table, not paying attention to what's happening. They're like reading the newspaper, looking at their cereal box, and then all at once, everyone over the head claps their hands, and no one acknowledges that anyone else did it. And it's like so quaint and perfect that like right away you're like, oh yeah, there was thought put into this. Like, this is good. This is going to be fun. They're having fun with it.
Yeah. And, we've spent 10 minutes talking about the first 7 seconds of the music video, but when you're watching this, let's say it's in real time, you're not even like, what is it? The 6-second attention span on people with social media nowadays. They get to that clap very quick and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Do go on,
Oh, great. Such a great moment in the video. But yeah, basically this really lays out the clash between the guys start rocking. They have all their speakers set up in the house. It's still in their own, private space.
Okay, dude. If you were in a band and this is going to be your life, why would you even go to this house in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, this is not like Alphabet City in New York in the 90s or something, or like, I'm getting my references and times and places wrong. But like, you know what I mean? Like, why? Why would you do this to those people? Like, if you have enough money to just cash, get a house, I'm assuming if you're a band, why bother an entire neighborhood worth of people? You know what I mean? And sleep until, let's assume 8, 7 at the earliest, right? Right, exactly. Like, I think the band has some explaining to do, quite honestly. Like, they're going out of their way to ruin some lives.
They're the bad guys.
Yes, right? I'm just saying, like, there are places in this great nation that are friendlier to the artist lifestyle, I would argue, than wherever this seemingly quiet neighborhood. Because it's like people who end up in the suburbs are probably pretty self-aware that they're there and what the suburbs are and mean and can provide. So like, it's not like they feel good about it either. I don't know. like, okay, man, like, I know what I'm doing here, but what are you doing here? I don't know. I'm just like, come on, guys, what are you doing? It's like 10 o'clock, man.
Let's put into perspective. This song is probably geared towards high schoolers who would very much be on the side of the rocking band. And
dude, okay.
The man, I don't care about you. I don't respect anything. And now that we're 28, 29, we're like, hey, man, I'm trying to sleep over here. We are showing our age, Pat.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're rewatching King of the Hill, and sometimes you rewatch something you watched years ago, and you're like, this means so many different things than I thought it meant at the time. And like, just the character of Hank Hill viewed from back then to now, enough is it could be a whole podcast on its own. But also, you want them to make their art, because that house, the stripes are cool, but like, maybe just pick somewhere else. That's all. I don't think we're being, again, I have yet to find a reason to clash, but like you said, until the sleep schedule thing starts to come into play, right? They're playing their music and they awaken their straight-laced neighbors.
Yeah, so from here, it's morning. Straight-laced neighbors washing the car. He's got a garden hose. His perfect, white picket fence wife is bringing out lemonade to him.
Yeah, stirring it in the yard.
And yeah, and we see the band come out in their underwear and robes into the yard. And
oh, wait, because, okay, so band practice woke up the straight-laced neighbors the night before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the straight-laced neighbors come out, and he turns on his little record player, right, that he's brought outside while washing the car. And he turns it up, and the second chorus of the song, or the first chorus of the second verse, or whatever, is sung by the straight-laced neighbor back at them. They wake up. They come out of the house to confront these people after spending all night keeping them awake. The nerve of these kids, you know what I mean? But what's the best part about the video, I think, is the straight-laced neighbor, and this is the first sign we see of him seeming so hardcore, is he like uses the hose as his to spray hose water as if it were urine towards the neighboring home, which to this point, it's a punk move to, in private, just make noise and keep your neighbors awake. He walked out into public and mimed peeing on the other person's property.
He thrusted too.
Oh, he's not. Yeah, his hips aren't static during. I mean, it's a fluid. He's talking. Let your body talk. You know what I mean? Like, this is the first sign. And again, there's the wife swap at the end, which is a whole. We'll get there maybe before tomorrow. But this is the first thing we see. But like, okay, not only am I older and siding with the straight-laced neighbor, he also might be the more hardcore dude of, you know what I mean? He's just like, why don't you, I don't know what he's saying, but the hose is at his waist, and I'm like, wow, okay, there's something pent up here. There's something dangerous about what this man's capable of. And again, there's no moment of this music video I'm not totally drawn into where this is heading.
Yeah, it's so good. So now it's later on at night. Is the mirror coming yet, or is he guitar soloing on the riding mower right now?
Ooh, there we go. Okay, so we're going tit for tat, and basically, and this is my favorite moment of the music video. Well, actually, the hose crotch stuff was very hilarious to me at the time, but I think my favorite shot is the guitarist on the riding lawnmower that you said had a paint job as well as the house. Tyson Ritter's band character with earphones on himself, admitting that these are inappropriate decibel levels of sound. In the middle of the night, mowing the lawn while the guy plays that kind of, is it dissonant? Is that the right word?
It's pretty dissonant. I wanted to talk about the guitar solo itself.
Yeah, the guitar solo, again, the simplicity of the distorted guitar and its lack of use is so, it's almost a storyline in itself. But yeah, he's standing on the riding lawnmower, which to me is just weirdly awesome. I've always loved that shot. I've always loved them coming. And then again, he's wearing headphones himself or noise canceling earphones. The lead singer while he's driving his friend around while the friend's standing up front. Now he's matching the energy of the weird hose crotch stuff, right? He's like, okay, we're going to get artsy. We're going to get creative. We're not just going to play things loud. We're coming at you. We're coming at you hard. We're driving into your front lawn and we're cutting parts of it, which is weirdly rude to do. Oh, God. Right. And, yeah, and then he plays the worst guitar solo ever. Like, of all the songs that have ever gone quadruple platinum that feature guitar solos, this has to be objectively the worst, but in the best way. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts about that alone.
Yeah, it's like it goes in such an unexpected way that I almost admire it because it feels like someone was accidentally recording him as he was noodling the wrong notes. And it almost sounds like one of the newer Mark Hoppus melodies where you're like, why did you hit that note? Like
Right.
You were setting yourself up for a nice resolution and then just
life is too short to last
long.
Oh my God. Get
So
a
we
clue,
get
mate.
Yeah. It's like,
well, it's almost like, hey, do you want to put this song on the record? No, we should leave it off. Man, what if we put it on? Well, it's going to need a guitar solo. Quick, somebody play the guitar while we're recording because this album goes out in 10 minutes or something. Like we're going to need to put it on. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the fact that it was a mistake song, things start to line up and make sense. Like, hey, if we want to do it, let's do it our way and play this weird thing and people are going to be waiting for that distorted guitar to kind of come in and stay, similar to our past work, but let's not give it to them and make it the worst part of the song. I don't know. I kind of respect it because, like,
I know.
Bands have to keep it new and fresh for themselves. They play the same songs over and 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 over. And to their credit, a lot of bands give the fans what they want. I kind of like that they almost tried at every turn to make this a not good song or something, but it's such a good sing-along thing. And I think, can we talk about the chorus real quick before we finish the video?
Yeah.
It's a pretty, I think, standard breakup song, right? What were your first impressions of this when you heard it?
Again, I'm with lyrics, but...
yeah, when you see my face, I hope it gives you hell. Like I'm doing well, I hope you're not. And I hope when you see me, you see how well I'm doing, and it makes you even more upset about how poorly you're doing, right? Like...
Yeah, and again, like... This song is catering towards teenagers who are like inherently vindictive and competitive. So like, dude, this hit me in the fucking throat when I heard it. It was like,
whoa, really? Okay.
Yeah, because again, this is like 2008. I've talked about it so much. Like on the tail end of this 5-year awful relationship I had with this girl and getting out of it, it was like, I cannot wait to see, like, I don't know. I felt like everything I did was like wrong or bad or like, I can't believe you do that. So it was
but then there's a bit of a gut punch in there too. When he says, truth be told, I miss you. Truth be told, I'm lying. I don't know. He's almost being schizophrenic about the way he goes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you connect with any of that stuff as well?
Well, what's funny is, again, I don't think much about the lyric, but he said, I miss you. And then I'm lying. I guess I, again, never really thought about it. I thought he was saying like he was lying about missing her.
No, he is.
So he doesn't miss her.
It's kind of like the way the guitar solo almost works against the song itself. He says, right when the guitar gets so sweet, and it's like, truth be told, I miss you. It's like, truth be told, I'm lying. Whatever, cry about it. I'm doing great. Like, they want you to think they're getting sweet, but then it's like, nope, I hope my face gives you hell,
Okay, so I was right.
So you're right.
You were yelled
right.
psych, like...
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
That's how I take it, and I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for.
Yeah, and again, like, when bands slow it down, you're kind of thinking it's going to stay slow for a bit, and they give you, like, 4 bars, and then it's just, boom, right back. Like, everything about this song is masterfully done. and the music video. I do want to talk about, again, before we close out the video and stuff, it's kind of this like very almost like 80s electronic sound inspired little noodly noises coming through, a little like thin drum beat. And it's just kind of like, okay, this is a little playful. And then the heaviest, sludgiest guitar tone you've ever heard. Oh, no.
Yeah. Sludgy is such a good word for it. You deserve all the credit in the world for bringing that to the table just now, because you're so right. It's like, dun, dun, dun. It's like little computer tones. You're like, okay, this is like a pop song or whatever. And then it's like, I went, yeah, like, like the audio thing, if you in the recording session, bolts into the red or whatever, you know. But then they stop, and then they just stop it. It's just so awesome. Because you're expecting it to change, that the hat to drop, I guess would be the phrase, maybe not.
Yeah.
But it never does. And then you're like, oh, this is a pop song. They just are trying to mess with us with the guitar work. I don't know, but it also adds to it so beautifully as well, you know, because it hypes you up for that next verse or whatever they would be. And it does its job and keeps you interested. There's never a turn in the music video or the song itself that didn't keep me curious about what was coming next.
Right.
All the while being a very predictable hit, sing-along breakup song. So it's very interesting in that way. And maybe that's why they were curious about if it would work or not. I'm not sure.
Going back to the video briefly, we see the rocker in bed with the girl with rubber gloves on, which is...
Really? I missed that.
Yeah, big red rubber gloves. Just
the rocker. Okay, I thought the straight-laced guy. I was like, okay.
No, a little over the top, right? And then we get to the dropout chorus when it's just the drum beat, it's the gang vocals, and now we have not only the band, but all of their friends.
Wait, time out.
Sure.
Lawnmower noise guitar trick, followed up by straight-laced guy finagling the light and heat of the sun through a series of mirrors to wake up the rocker, right? Which is diabolical, and you have to know your neighbor pretty intimately to know which windows are going to be open at certain times of day and stuff. So this wasn't just like on the whim thing. He lined it up. Tyson Ritter goes tumbling out of bed because it's so bright and wakes him up so early. So then the rebuttal is what you were saying, and I'll let you continue on. They invited a lot of people over, it seems, for a final kind of yelling, screaming match, I guess.
Yeah, so that's when we see the rubber gloves after the mirror trick. And from there, we have back to nighttime. The rebuttal is not just the band, but now the band and seemingly all of their friends in the yard, in the pitch black with megaphones. There's people on the roof, and they are now chanting.
Amps outside.
Amplifiers outside, some really nice Vox. I think they're AC30s.
And again, their only strategy this whole time is noise at inconvenient times.
It's a good
strategy,
though.
Intricate mirror work. He's got...
Sure.
I'm literally peeing on your property because of how little I respect you and stuff. It's the darkness that comes from the mind of the quote-unquote straight-laced character. Like the lack of creativity from the quote-unquote, we painted our house. These freaking posers. I don't care if you paint your house. Oh, louder? Good one. You know, like, okay. Right. I'm just saying, the switch that comes later makes so much sense. Like, yeah. Hose crotch kid is the real hero of the day and deserves to be living the bizarre lifestyle because he's obviously more creative.
Can we talk a little bit about when everyone's in the yard and it looks like Tyson's kind of stumbling through the yard? The girl is putting her hands on his shoulder like she's reassuring him. I didn't get what that was about.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on before they have a standoff right in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, so in the middle of the chanting chorus, all of the friends are yelling through the megaphones, and it looks like the singer is stumbling through the yard like he's drunk or in bewilderment, and it's just like his energy is so weird and low that I didn't really get what they were portraying there.
I think they might be trying to prove, based on the switch that comes next, that she's tired of his antics as well. What's that? In the movie Almost Famous, when the guy who's supposed to be playing a fictional Lester Bangs, Philip Seymour Hoffman, says, yes, he's a drunken buffoon, but at least he has the courage to be a drunken buffoon, unlike Jim Morrison, who is like a bad, uncreative person. I forget what the line is, but he's ripping on Jim Morrison and saying, the lead singer of the Guess Who, I think, he's a drunken buffoon, but he has the whatever. At least he has the balls to be that.
Right.
There's something about his would it be bombastic, I guess, but you're just playing things loud in the direction of your neighbor and you're always drunk, and who sleeps in till 8? I don't know. I think they maybe had to create that based on the switch that happens next, which happens pretty fast. The whole, like, these couples should have been swinging a long time ago, and this was really more of a sexual tension thing. Happens so quickly right at the end. But I think maybe they're setting up the fact that the rocker girlfriend with the rubber gloves isn't quite as infatuated with the quote unquote. Maybe she doesn't wake up every evening with a big smile on her face. You know what I mean? So maybe they have to maybe you have to reiterate that before the switch.
Yeah, let's talk about the switch. The two guys are face to face, a little split screen. They're yelling in each other's faces now.
Which at the time might have been a big video editing feat to have the same actor yelling at himself, right?
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, we've come a long way. Even 05 era, 08 would have been like, I think version 1 of iMovie would have been blowing people's minds or something. So like we weren't exactly, I mean, dial-up, we were a long way from dial-up at that point, but we still weren't exactly like, I don't think the iPhone or Twitter even was like Bing or even a thing yet. So consider it the Stone Age at this point. So
yeah, iPhones were still AT&T only at the time.
Smoke and mirrors, guys. Smoke and mirrors.
So the guys are yelling. They're pretty focused on each other and the hatred. Meanwhile, their lovely partners, the women, are looking at each other, and they kind of give this motion of back and forth, like switch it up to kind of thing. And then we see the good wife getting in bed with the rocker guy, and or there's more performance shots of the straight-laced guy singing as with the band. He's now the singer.
And he's loving it. He's
loving it.
Well, the thing is, okay, when they were on the lawnmower and the guitarist was playing his solo in the direction of their house on their lawn, again, very disrespectful. They were playing Operation. What's wrong with a good game night is my main question, right? So I think there's a creativity that the straight-laced guy, through his game nights and his record collection that he brings out onto the lawn while he's washing his car, like there's still remnants from a past life that, honestly, and again, he smiles too when he's blowing kisses to his lovely wife at night. Right. Like he's fine, he's grooving. But you could tell when they decide to just switch, which is like cool, good loyalty on behalf of, I guess the doting wife who stirs lemonade. But again, maybe she needs to be fulfilled in other ways as well. So the switch is good, is positive. I think if we're talking from a standpoint of, let's just keep it simple. This guy is more creative. We're supposed to hate him at first. I don't think either of us really did, or anybody maybe really did. And he just falls into that singing shot where he's with the band and loving it and really glad that this switch has taken place. And to be honest, I think the comfort, maybe that's why the band moved into the suburbs in the first place, is because Tyson Ritter's band character just really wanted a sense of normalcy after life on the road. And he climbs right into bed with the other wife without even thinking or missing a beat. So everyone gets what they want, seemingly. Maybe the band doesn't seem too heartbroken.
Maybe the takeaway from this video is that on the surface we need to butt heads, but really we want what the other person wants deep down.
Ooh.
Right? Because you're fighting with like your... Because it's like you're fighting with your inner self. Hey man, I reject that lifestyle. That's not what I'm about. But really, your inner heart wants to go to bed at 10, but you have to keep up appearances. No, I'm a rocker. I have to stay up all night. Maybe that's why he looks so tired in that huge anthemic gang vocal. Because it's 10 o'clock. He wants to go to bed, but he has to keep up this front to all of his friends. So that's why he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll get in bed with his wife. I'm tired.
Yes.
So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Why would somebody sleep to 8 p.m. if they were as exhausted as they've ever been from like 48 hours in an airport or something? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe he's not having a good time.
Yeah. So,
do you feel good about how it ended?
It passed by me the first time, I think, because first of all, I was trying to figure out if the girls on either side were the same person. I was like really looking closely at their jawlines because I knew the guys were the same. I didn't know if we were also supposed to get two different versions of the same woman. That's not what ended up happening, but I think I was so focused on trying to figure that out because I watched what is it? You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift 100 times before I realized the bitchy black-haired girl was Taylor Swift in a wig.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah. I was like,
okay.
I was like, her teeth look familiar.
I was going to say, if you don't listen to lyrics that often and you're not paying attention to that stuff either, like, how does music hit your ears or what's hitting your eyes? Like, what are you focusing on?
Dude, I always notice really dumb background stuff in movies. Like, oh, when after that edit, the cut moved and it's to the left. Like, I'm not even watching the movie because I'm looking at the nonsensical details. Anyway, so I'm happy with the ending because, like, I mean, I'm not a swinger, but like, if people feel like they need something else to be fulfilled and each party is happy and feeling loved and getting what they want, hell yeah, man, let the straight-laced guy front the rock band for a night or a weekend. And, you know, I think it's great. Everyone looks legitimately happy at the end of this video. And like, what more could you ask for?
Do you think that there's an agreed upon scenario where the band members, well, do you think they ever go back to their old house? I mean, did they move their stuff that quickly? Like, does this become a commune type situation where all of them kind of flow back and forth from either house? Like, is there an agreed upon thing here? And I don't want to get too deep into the intricacies of what that might entail on a personal level, but you know, what exactly is the agreement made there that night? And they just have to live in each other's clothes and stuff. And they were like, hey, we're kind of the same. Oh, what's your pant size? The same. So yeah, I guess we're good. Like, is it just decided upon right then and there? Is there some things that have to be ironed out?
Well, clearly the band house guys are a little handy. I can see them building a nice little walkway between houses so that people can freely come and go as they please. You know, kind of connect them with a little breezeway. Yeah, I can see the beginnings of a very beautiful, what is it, intentional community? Is that what they call it?
Intentional community. There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, except when they all kill themselves with Flavor Aid.
Flavor Aid? Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I was just listening to a podcast on pluralistic ignorance, and the big case study was Jonestown. So... that's where I'm coming from tonight.
Cool. Hey, no, I appreciate the clarification because I was like, I guess they would maybe die soon after what we see in the music video. Possibly. Maybe not also, but I'm glad you clarified so I know where you're coming from. All good, man. All good.
Yeah, sure. So I want to ask you 2 questions before we close the episode out.
Sure.
Did you ever hear the rumor that this was a cover?
No, but I'm wildly curious. What have you heard? Tell me.
I think someone
Tell me everything.
At one point in high school said, you know, I think this is a cover of like a song from like the 70s or something. And I remember thinking like lyrically, this doesn't sound like a song from the 70s, but I never actually like Googled it until today. I didn't find anything. Everything said it was written and performed by All American Rejects, but I don't know. Back before the internet was really good at what it does, I heard that rumor and kind of half-heartedly believed it. So, okay, cleared that up. And the second thing is, have you ever seen them perform this song live?
Well, hold on real quick. They had done a duet with Selena Gomez at one point on an earlier version of this song.
Oh, what?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh.
That was true with Forever the Circus Kids or whatever.
I was like, wait, again? What?
I know. That's only, if you've been listening all along, that will have only been a minor payoff for all of you, but it's been fun to confuse my friend. No, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just theirs. But no, okay. I've never seen them live. Well, I take it back. Maybe, but it was a messy day that I have mentioned a lot on this show, but have never gone into detail about. It was back when they toured with Fall Out Boy and Weezer and Blink, I think, but maybe Weezer wasn't at that show because they finished the dates, but there was a messy crash for one of the, I don't know, it was a weird tour. It's possible, but again, it's a day that I'm glad to have survived.
Okay. So I saw this at the Fairfax County Fair in Virginia. They had like weirdly awesome bands play. They had Third Eye Blind one year and then All American Rejects the year after that. I think it was like a last minute thing. I forgot who was supposed to play. They dropped out and they were supposed to have the spot filled by someone that like no one really cared about. So like I didn't get tickets, and then like 2 days before, they're like, "Just kidding, All American Rejects are playing," and I like scrambled to get tickets to this thing. I believe I went with Megan, and there were some like friends of my friends that I met up with, and it was an outdoors spot, and I mean the place was packed, and we got stuck next to this group of like 12 people that were just like, I don't understand why they were in the crowd, but they were not listening to the music. They were just like faced, like screaming to each other about like gossip about their friends. And like, I am the kind of guy that gets really hung up on minor inconveniences and has a hard time experiencing anything out of the context of that. So I was just like so annoyed that someone would be that close to the music, but still like forcefully screaming so hard over it to like actively not listen to the music, that like this whole song, all I could think about was shut the up. And I feel like I missed the entire experience of seeing this song live because I was so distracted by this like horribly inconsiderate group of 20 somethings, of which I was as well at the time. But yeah, it was a bummer.
So should we put together a field guide for old heads going to shows?
Well, I think I was 20
like
when I saw.
You're an old soul is what I think somebody might call that. Yeah, I mean, there's singing along and being enthusiastic, but perhaps there are also things you should not do at shows.
Well, they just did give a about the show. They were talking about what they thought.
Right.
Their friend,
I guess what I'm saying is it's one thing to be enthusiastic in a way that's disruptive positively along with the energy of the room. But if you're working against that energy, then perhaps you're messing up.
Yeah, it was a bummer. I mean, it was 2013. It was 5 years after the song came out. You know, probably 5 years after the band was super relevant. So like,
and seeing certain songs live, you might only get a couple chances depending on the hit, depending on the mood of the band, depending how often they tour. We've talked about that a lot on the show. Like certain bands, like you might like like I always say this, but Peace by Weezer. It's my life's mission to see them play Peace off Make Believe. It's doubtful, but you know, darn them, I guess is what I'm saying. Because you might not ever get to see them, and it's a song we both enjoy. I think we're learning. Yeah. Like, and there's no reason to hide away from this song anyway, but it's good, man. It's really good. And again, It Ends Tonight and Move Along had a time and place, especially for people of that age at that time. But this was just too fun to ignore. I remember, and I'll leave us with this little anecdote maybe, but I remember packing up to go play at that Trance nightclub, which was a gay club in Erie at the time, who were always very good to us and had us play a lot, actually. And we were loading up all our gear, and I think Aaron was there because he was always helping out because he was just too good for this world, honestly. Just a terrific human. And I remember every time I would go downstairs, depending on what I had carried up, I would restart the song regardless of how far it had gotten from like taking little bits. Because I was in the stage of liking this song where I needed to hear every ounce of it several dozen times, regardless, like start it over. I just need to hear this. And I don't know if you remember that at all, but it was on your little downstairs computer when your mom was over on the west side. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody really minded because we were all kind of into it, is my memory. But it also could have been perceived as annoying. But yeah, it was just like, I'm not letting the YouTube algorithm take us anywhere else but here. I need this. I need this right now.
It's very good, man. Wouldn't blame me for any bit of it. Cool. Yeah. Super good. Produced by Eric Valentine. We've talked about them a lot. Really good producer. There's so much to hear in this song. For as simple as it is, I think it's deceptively simple for how many layers make this song the masterpiece that it is. And you can listen to it 100 times and hear something new every time. And that's just like the mark of a really thoughtful, very well produced pop song. And I love every second of this.
I'm glad you said pop song because I don't think we're demanding respect or anything. It's just like, this was really fun and good, and we're allowed to appreciate it as such. I don't think we're calling it anything more than it is. And it was, I think, right? We can just be glad it exists. I don't think, anyway, good times. Good times to be had by all, I think.
For sure. Well, that was fun. I was really excited about this episode when you mentioned that you wanted to do it. It's a great song. Tweet at the show at _reminiscent FM. And I don't know. I like hearing people's first, interactions with the song. When's the first time
that's
you heard
kind of
this?
the show, I think. Unless
Who
it's not,
introduced you
tweet
to
at us if we're getting our own show wrong.
Well, let's give a song of the week and get out of here.
Sure. I got a quick one this week. I was looking back over the albums of 2019 that I had come into contact with or kind of enjoyed this and that. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any, and I might have given this before. But Vampire Weekend's Father of the Bride, I haven't given it the full attention it's deserved. I want to give the song 2021 as my song of the week, just to remind myself to go back and go give it the front to back treatment. For a long time, I think there's 2 or 3 records deeply that I got into of theirs, at least one big time. So anyway, it deserves my attention and maybe yours. 2021's been out for a while, and the record has been out for a little while, but I was just combing through my 2019 picks and wanted to make sure that I didn't end up whiffing on that altogether and somehow I've missed it deeper down the line or anything like that. So 2021 off Father of the Bride by Vampire Weekend.
Awesome. I haven't heard from them in a while, so that's cool. They're still cranking out tunes.
Yeah, they have a podcast called Tales from the Road or something. Let me look it up. But yeah, with CT and Bayo, the 2 Chris's from that band. It's on the Ringer Podcast Network. They've interviewed some good people, but they interviewed themselves for the last episode of season 1, so I don't know if it's doing very well. But yeah, The Road Taken, they talk about stories from touring and stuff. But they interview a lot of good people, Michelle Branch, Patrick Carney of the Black Keys, Albert Hammond Jr. of the Strokes, stuff like that. But, it's pretty interesting to hear them talk about what weird situations bands often find themselves in on the road. But you kind of forget how long the Vampire Weekend's been around. Like, they'll always kind of feel like a new band almost, but they've been hard at work since we've been in college. So, they're definitely not new and they deserve the respect. That's all.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Mine is off of the playlist I have on our website. It's called That New Old High School Vibe. It's a bunch of bands from like 2017 and 2018 that are like really killing like the new age pop punk game. There's a song called LOTL by 7 Minutes in Heaven. That's really good. I've been spending a lot of time on that playlist that I made and working on some new ones. Reminiscentpodcast.com/playlists. We do monthly ones that are all the songs of the week and songs that were talked about in shows. And every now and then we'll kind of just make other ones of stuff we're listening to. So if you want to check out some playlists on Spotify or Apple Music, they're there. But LOTL by 7 Minutes in Heaven is one that I've really been enjoying lately.
Cool. And yeah, tell a friend. Subscribe if you want, but we'd rather you get at us on Twitter at _reminiscent FM or send an episode you like to a friend. Kind of the word of mouth thing is what I think we've decided to suggest people do. I mean, subscribe, comment, rate, all that, but that seems kind of old. Tell somebody. If you like us, tell somebody, right? I think we're pretty high up. Yeah. Higher than we've ever thought.
Send this episode to the person that introduced you to All American Rejects.
Hey, nice. I like that.
There you go.
Also, we've cracked the top 25 for Apple's music commentary podcasts in the US. So
yeah.
Coming from our own closets 3 years ago, that's seemingly, I don't know, it could get cool. It could get cool fast based on how into the MCR reunion everybody was last year. So if we can this is that show, kind of, right? I think so. If not, let us know and we'll correct ourselves. But if people seem to be into that sort of thing, we're here and we're doing it. So hit us up on Twitter. What do you want to hear? What do you like about the show? What do you not like? The most fun, I don't want to speak for you, Tom, but is interacting with people, right? Like that's kind of... This is mostly just a joy thing. We're not talking about stuff we don't know that well or aren't that familiar with for doing a show, or at least we have tried that, but we've kind of self-corrected and are mostly focusing on stuff we just really like. And if you like it too, that's just a thrill, right?
Yeah. Right on all accounts, man.
Sure. Yeah. I was trying to toss to you, but I think I kind of just put a bow on the episode. So we can just end it. We can just end it. Anyway, it's been fun. Let us know. Yeah, I love you, man. This is a good one. Not like, it's a good hit. It's a good bop. No more, no less. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Hey everyone, thanks for making it all the way through to the end of the episode. This was such a fun song to cover, Such a fun song to listen to, great music video. You can check out the show notes for this episode at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/157. You can check out our blog and our merch and everything we got going on there. And as always, hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. We love talking to all of you. It is the best part of doing this show. Let us know where you were when you first heard this song. We'll talk to you all next week. We've got a ton of great episodes planned for you. And we'll see you then. Love you all. Bye.